A very interesting comment from Matthew Dando, a media lawyer and partner at Wigan law firm, has told the BBC that this trial could be a bruising experience for Prince Harry. And this is exactly what it's designed to be, because the secrets behind law, because you're on Black Belt Secrets, so please make sure you subscribe here too, because you'll get some of my different thoughts that don't necessarily have a proper place on Black Belt Barrister. You get some of my proper thoughts here. So a cross-examination is intended to be a very difficult and challenging experience for any witness coming forward to give evidence, because it is supposed to test your credibility. It's supposed to test the consistency of your evidence. It is supposed to be a difficult experience, not to upset you, not to ridicule you, and not to insult you, but it is most certainly to put your case under the most intense scrutiny so that the court is in the best position to determine whether or not you're telling the truth. And this can be anything from a simple inconsistency from something you've said earlier in a previous statement, which is now inconsistent, because previous inconsistent statements are always admissible, and you can cross-examine on those previous statements that might be inconsistent without any permission from the judge. And of course, whether or not your story holds up, whether your evidence holds up, is going to be determined by the veracity of your giving of evidence and responses to those questions in cross-examination, because that's how it will be tested. So in this case here, it is going to be probably emotionally challenging, it's going to be intellectually challenging, and it's quite certainly going to go through a whole lot of very personal detail and information of Prince Harry's most private stories. Now, I say this knowing full well that a lot of these stories have been put out in his memoir Spare and in the Netflix series, so arguably he's already had some sense of going through these stories if he's been discussing them with the ghostwriter to put the book out, Spare. But that is not going to be the same as being cross-examined and tested and challenged as to what bits of it are true, and having other bits put back to him to contradict certain parts of what he's saying, to really test whether his claims against the newspaper are true. Now, some of these stories obviously go back around 20 years, so this, as I said, is going to be probably fairly heart-wrenching, pulling back on very old stories, old memories, probably very painful memories, particularly those that relate to the late Princess Diana, Harry's mum, and stories that revolve around her and how the newspapers wrote about her and her relationship with him. And as I've said in other videos, there is quite probably a very heavy heart of principle at the very bottom of this case for Harry, because this really seems to be, as it's been put across, as his life's work to challenge the media landscape on how stories are researched and how these stories are written and how the journalists get their information. And as I've also said in previous videos, if information is sought via illegal methods, which could simply be having someone's voicemail pin without their consent and accessing their voicemails without their consent, that is still misuse of a computer of sorts and obtaining information material without that person's consent, which makes it an offence under the Computer Misuse Act of 1990. So there's a whole host of different things going on here. I've never spoken to anybody yet that has enjoyed their time in court, even if they always say they want their day in court. Like Mr. Belfield, who went to prison, very often said that he wanted his day in court. But doubtless, I don't think he enjoyed it, because I watched the videos that he put out reporting on his own case. He didn't seem to enjoy his day in court, despite wanting that all the way along. So however much Harry thinks that he wants this case and he wants to go to court, I just don't think he's going to enjoy it. That's my personal view. That's what you get here on Black Belt Secrets. So make sure you subscribe here for my personal views. You can agree with them or disagree with them, but you can come here for my personal views. This is now going to be a bit of an outlet for my Black Belt Barrister type videos, where I can give you more of my own personal thoughts and you can listen to those here. So I agree with this lawyer to say that this is going to be a very bruising and difficult time for Harry going through this week to give evidence and be cross-examined. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please do make sure you like this video and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get more of my own personal thoughts on these types of cases. And join me on both channels, all three channels, with our Art, Media and Law channel with our Alan Robertshaw, and of course my dear wife over at Easy Chinese Cooking. Sign up to all those channels and I will see you next time.